All right, so Kraven the Hunter is a movie with the title Kraven the Hunter, and it stars Aaron Taylor Johnson as a character that other characters in the movie call Kraven the Hunter. I don't think that's who this guy is. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Tyler, and thanks for tuning in as today I review Sergey, the latest superhero origin story guy. Kraven the Hunter is the sixth and final entry in the recently RIP'd SSU, the Sony Spider-Man Universe, total number of appearances by Spider-Man 0. It was directed by J.C. Shandor from a script with the singular, passionate vision of several different people, none of whom seem to grasp who Kraven the Hunter is. All right, look, as I understand it, Kraven the Hunter is a character who is interested in two things: kicking ass and chewing gum. And guess what he just ran out of? He's like this warrior big game hunter whose whole deal is going around and trying to find worthy foes to beat to prove his superiority. He's like the alpha male of the jungle. He's like the alpha predator of the globe, right? Like that's his whole thing. That's why he went after Spider-Man in the comics, was to beat Spider-Man just to prove that he can. So he's kind of like a villain anti-hero, right? He'll come at you and challenge you and try to beat you for no other reason than just to prove that he can. You don't even have to do anything like really bad, like stuff his girlfriend into a refrigerator or something. He'll just come challenge you. This movie, Kraven, like I don't see this guy going after Spider-Man just to prove something. Right? He's more like Rambo, George of the Jungle. Like if the "don't fuck with the cats" memes could literally rip your head off your shoulders, that's this guy. He'd more than likely team up with Spider-Man, which he does because he's kind of a villain anti-hero. He does team up with Spidey in the comics, but there is a key element to who the character is that's just missing here. And look, I don't know what I was expecting from Aaron Taylor Johnson here. I guess I was not expecting him to do a Russian accent for the whole movie. When I heard his first line of dialogue in English, it kind of threw me off. For the first few minutes of his dialogue in the movie, he's speaking Russian, like this heavy Russian accent. He's got like, oh, this guy's very Russian, of course. But then he comes and speaks English. There's no accent at all. He just sounds like regular Hollywood guy. And there's a scene where he's sitting on a park bench with the Ariana DeBose character, Calypso. They're in civilization. And she asks him, "Are you from here?" And Kraven says something like, "No, I'm from about as far away from here as you can imagine." Really? Because it sounds like you're from here. Okay, so Kraven, as we know him from the comics, does not feel like this guy at all, but whatever. Maybe the movie's just so good it doesn't matter anyway, right? Right? All right, so the story. The story is, it's a story. You know, we get a lot of the same familiar superhero beats here. In the beginning of the film, we get an extended flashback where we see young Sergey / Kraven and his younger weakling brother, Dmitri, who is played as an adult by Fred Heschinger. They're being taken on an African safari hunt by their father, Nikolai, played by Russell Crowe, who is an alpha male big game hunting douchebag and wants his kids to grow up to be just like him. On this hunt, they're hunting for a legendary lion. They find the lion. The lion attacks Sergey. Nikolai shoots the lion. The lion's blood drips into Sergey's open wounds, entering into his bloodstream. And I know what you're thinking. This is a very legendary lion, but it's not radioactive. It's not enough here. We're going to need one more ingredient. Oh, hey, there's a girl over there in the middle of the African savannah who just happens to be in the area and who just happens to have a magical potion that her grandmother gave her 5 minutes ago. And of course, even though she has no idea what the potion does, she pours it right into Sergey's mouth, which sends him on his superhero transformation. After recovering, Sergey fully rejects his father's authority, and leaving his brother behind, he runs away into nature. Like literally, he just runs into the outside. He was inside, but now he's going to live outside, which apparently he does for 16 years. We come back 16 years later, and he's running around catching fish with his bare hands. Apparently, he goes back into civilization every year to see his brother for his brother's birthday. It's complicated. So this year, in the year of the movie, he comes back into town. He runs into his father. He reunites with the girl from the African savannah, who is now living in the city. Again, her name is Calypso, played by Ariana DeBose, and she is there pretty much just to move the plot forward. We do have a head bad guy here. His name is Alexei Sitsevich. He is played by Pollux Troy himself, Alessandro Nivola, and is clearly the best thing about the movie here. There is another kind of cool character who works for Rhino, aka Alexei, played by Christopher Abbott. His name is The Foreigner, and he's got this really cool technique. I don't think it was supposed to be a superhero like power. It's just he has like really good eye contact. So there were a couple of glimmers of good things in this movie here, but overall there are a lot of big questions here that kind of permeate the whole story. Like the bad guys. I couldn't even really tell you why the bad guys were bad guys. I don't even remember if they were actually committing like any real crimes besides poaching, which is a serious crime, but the movie treats these guys like they're like arms dealers or something. Even the Alessandro Nivola character, like he's not doing anything. He's not like trying to like make an explosive or like release some neurotoxin gas into the city. Okay, here's the deal. Rhino heard that Kraven wants to come after him, so he kidnaps Kraven's brother. Kraven goes after Rhino only because his brother was kidnapped by Rhino. The whole thing is, it's like an Ouroboros. It's like a plot loop, like a time loop for a plot with no end point. All right. It sounds like I really haven't had a lot of nice things to say about the movie besides Alessandro Nivola and Christopher Abbott's character. It would have been cool to see more of him, I think. But, you know, I'm fine having a character like that in a movie who's just got a little bit of intrigue that we never actually learn more about. I'm fine with that. You know, there's some wonky CGI looking at you, Rhino. There's some big questions with the story going on here, but and the guy does not feel like Kraven at all. But this movie is not a terrible, terrible movie. It's not a great movie. It's not a Kraven movie, but it's not laughably bad like a Wonder Woman 1984 was for me. If this movie had come out when I was like 15, if this movie came out in like 1994 and I was 15 years old, I would have loved it. I would have bought the DVD, watched it, liked it. I would have lost the DVD for like 15, 20 years, then found the DVD, popped it back in, watched it, and realized that it's nowhere near as good as I remember. Unfortunately, we've skipped right past all of that to the it's nowhere near as good as we remember part. But again, this is, I don't know if it's the movie that ended the SSU, the Sony Spider-Man Universe. Again, 0 appearances from Spider-Man, but it's the last one in it. So, I mean, you know, Kraven off, Kraven out. It's more like it. Am I right? No. Should probably edit that crap out. Anyway, like if you want a better representation of Kraven, go play Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation 5. I recently finished that one, and for everything that I know about the character, that guy was far more accurate to who we were wanting to see on screen than this guy. Again, I'm not a Kraven the Hunter expert, so if you know more about it than I do, feel free to let me know what I got right or wrong in the comments section. And those are my feelings on this movie, Kraven the Hunter. Do you have any feelings about it at all? Are you going to go see it? Have you seen it? Or are you going to skip this one? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Hit like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.